Hi, I'm Nick Palmisano, and this is the Bad News Network. In this week's medical news, there have been over 20,000 cases of measles. That's right, measles. The disease that's been eradicated for decades is back. Why? Because 12% of Democrats and 10% of Republicans think that vaccines are dumb, because a starlet in the 90s said so. In order to achieve herd immunity, we need a 95% vaccination rate. So with these clowns, we're coming 6% short, which is why you suddenly have things like the measles popping up and putting kids in seriously bad positions and even killing them. The disease can also mutate, like the X-Men, and become stronger and more resilient to the vaccines that work for everyone else. If you're not vaccinating your kid, you're stupid, and this measles epidemic is your fault. Stop being stupid. We have enough problems right now without making third world problems our problems. And speaking of hurting children, and we need the Punisher right now news, Pennsylvania is finally coming down hard on the Catholic Church. Over 300 priests are being charged with molesting and raping over 1,000 children. These priests weren't operating on their own. They actually had an intricate system where once a child had been abused and had been desensitized, that kid would be given a golden necklace so that other priests that were predators could identify the kid so that they could molest or rape him. And the evidence shows that the rest of the church was covering for these guys. Look, the Catholic Church had the opportunity to clean house after Boston, but instead they doubled down and they're still hiding these predators. As a kid that grew up in a Catholic household, this is pure evil and the church needs to be hammered for it. Absolutely hammered. These priests need to go to prison for life, and the church needs to be sued to oblivion. There should be no money left when this is over. And failing that, let's kick off the first annual purge, and I know exactly where I'm going as soon as it starts. In what in the actual fuck news, Muslim extremists running a children's terrorist camp in New Mexico were granted bail of only $20,000 this week, leaving everyone's gassed flabbered. These guys literally were running a terrorist camp with children where the body of a dead child was found on the premises, and they received the same bail as someone that was getting their second DUI in many states. Yeah, that makes sense. Great work, Judge Sarah Backus. Nailed it. Then for some reason, the government destroyed the entire compound. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K. President Trump has continued his vindictive payback tour this week, canning weirdo FBI agent Peter Strzok and revoking the security clearance of former CIA Director John Brennan. He also had the Secret Service give Mike Jones, who went to 5th grade with the president, a wedgie, citing that Mr. Jones knew that the president liked Christy Swanson, but went out with her anyway, and payback is a bitch. Surprising absolutely no one, Omarosa proved to be disloyal to President Trump this week, launching a tell-all book and claiming that the president once used the N-word, and she has it on tape. When asked about the recording, Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders was unwilling to say that such a tape does not exist, leading most of us to believe it probably does. Assuming that's true, we've come up with a list of things that Sarah Huckabee Sanders can say as spin. Number 1, the president was talking about Africa and mispronounced Niger. It's a common mistake. Number 2, the president was actually just singing along on Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style album and it was taken out of context. Number 3, the president was actually saying that one in Mandarin Chinese. I was going to try to pronounce the Mandarin Chinese word, but even my attempt sounded racist. Number 4, the president can actually use this word because he's as black as Elizabeth Warren is Cherokee. And the last thing that Sarah Huckabee Sanders could say? Fuck it, this job's not worth it. Aretha Franklin passed away this Thursday at the age of 76. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, madam. Congressional candidate Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez put out a call for debate, stating that no Republicans were willing to debate her. In response to that, Ben Shapiro offered to debate her and donate $10,000 to the charity of her choice. Ocasio-Cortez likened his response to catcalling and saying she would not debate him because he had bad intentions. If by catcalling he means execute the debate she asked for, and if by bad intentions he means disproving socialism once again, then she's probably right. And finally, a couple who left their jobs last year to bike around the world in order to show that evil is a construct and that people are good no matter where you are, were murdered by ISIS in Tajikistan this week. There is no confirmed reason for the murders at this time, but one theory is that it's because they were white people biking through f***ing ISIS-controlled Tajikistan. And with that, I'm Nick Palmisano, and this is the Bad News Network. Our news is at least as bad as the news you're watching already, but at least we're f***ing honest.